Lewis Hamilton has just made bombshell statements about his experience at Ferrari that could completely transform our understanding of the 2025 season. The seven-time world champion decided to speak without filters, exposing explosive aspects of the internal tension, the troubled backstage, and how this situation has severely impacted his performance. However, do these revelations indicate that something much more significant is about to break out in Maranello? Hamilton's condition at Ferrari has reached a critical level that few could foresee. Since his celebrated arrival at the Italian team at the beginning of the year, the British driver has encountered a reality totally distinct from the childhood dream he always nurtured. 14 races have already taken place, and not even a single podium has been achieved. For a competitor who has accumulated 93 triumphs in his trajectory, this sequence symbolizes much more than unfavorable statistics on paper. It represents an existential crisis that is internally wearing down one of the greatest winners in Formula One history. The Hungarian Grand Prix marked the moment when the circumstance touched its most dramatic point. Hamilton started only in 12th position, while his team partner Charles Leclerc secured Ferrari's first starting position of the season. The glaring disparity in performance between both drivers revealed something that transcends merely technical issues. Hamilton reached emotional exhaustion, calling himself useless several times, and even suggesting that Ferrari consider replacing him. However, it was his statement about complications behind the scenes that really sparked interest. According to his words, there is a lot of movement happening away from the cameras that is definitely not working well. Now, on the eve of the Dutch Grand Prix, Hamilton has chosen to reveal information in an even more enlightening manner. The racer confessed that the pressure and constant noise surrounding Ferrari have considerably hindered his ability to enjoy racing. For someone who has always found his main source of energy in his passion for the sport, this admission resonates like a gigantic alarm signal. Hamilton declared that both he and the team need to remember that they love what they do, a statement that indicates that this essential passion is being stifled by present circumstances. The most impressive aspect is how Hamilton has characterized his experience at Ferrari up to this moment. He mentioned a devastating combination of elements that have made the first half of the season extremely arduous. The exorbitant amount of work, new commercial partners, endless photo sessions, and the complex insertion into a colossal team. All of this intensified by the fact that Ferrari is the biggest brand in motorsport, with all the media pressure and expectation that this symbolizes. It's as if Hamilton were trying to adjust not only to a new car, but to a corporate universe completely different from what he experienced at Mercedes. The 42-point difference to Leclerc in the championship tells only a fraction of the story. What truly concerns is how this distance was established. It's not just about negative results, but rather a series of performances that indicate Hamilton has still not managed to discover his space in this new reality. Leclerc, on the other hand, seems to be navigating Ferrari's troubled waters with much more ease, which raises questions about adaptation, youth versus experience, and whether there are internal dynamics benefiting one driver to the detriment of the other. Hamilton's admission about losing joy in the sport reaches the core of a much deeper issue. For an athlete of his stature, motivation has always been the pure pleasure of competing at the highest level. When that pleasure disappears, being replaced by pressure, nervousness, and frustration, performance inevitably declines. Hamilton acknowledged that he is seeking to recover this essence, pushing away distractions and focusing on true love for what he does. But is there still time for this recovery to produce an effect in the current season? George Russell, Hamilton's former teammate at Mercedes, defended the seven-time champion, classifying his self-destructive declarations as emotional nonsense. Russell pointed to the victory in China's sprint race as evidence that Hamilton still possesses preserved talent. This external perspective offers an interesting counterpoint, suggesting that Hamilton's problems may be more connected to the environment and circumstances than to a supposed deterioration of skill. Russell also emphasized how Formula One shows no mercy when the team is not performing at the highest level, an observation that can clarify much about the current difficulties. The circumstance creates a fascinating scenario for the 10 remaining races of the season. Hamilton is clearly in a moment of deep reflection about his career and his role at Ferrari. His determination to turn the page at the Dutch Grand Prix suggests that he still trusts in the possibility of recovery, but the confessions also reveal significant cracks that could have prolonged consequences. If Hamilton cannot rediscover his form and his satisfaction in racing, this could influence not only the remainder of the season, but also his plans for 2026 and beyond. Ferrari, for its part, faces a complex dilemma that goes far beyond track results. Having Lewis Hamilton on the team has always been about much more than immediate results. It was about prestige, global marketing, and the realization of a historic dream that united Formula One's biggest name with the most iconic brand in world motorsport. But dreams can transform into nightmares when reality doesn't correspond to the expectations created by years of speculation and media hype. The internal pressure that Hamilton mentioned could be a reflection of an organization that is still learning to deal with the enormous expectations generated by its most celebrated signing in recent history. The time element also weighs against Hamilton relentlessly. At 40 years old, he doesn't have the luxury of adaptation seasons that younger drivers can afford. Each lost race, each wasted opportunity, represents a significant portion of the remaining time in his career. This adds an extra layer of psychological pressure that could be contributing to the vicious cycle of anxiety and poor performance he himself described. Ferrari, aware of this reality, needs to find solutions quickly or risks wasting what might be the last opportunity to have a 7-time world champion in its cockpit. Hamilton's current moment at Ferrari serves as a powerful reminder that even the greatest champions are human, subject to doubts, pressures, and moments of vulnerability. His brutal honesty about the difficulties faced shows an emotional maturity that might be exactly what he needs to overcome this phase. But it also raises questions about whether Ferrari as an organization is prepared to adequately support a driver going through this personal and professional transformation. The upcoming races will determine not only championship positions, but also whether one of Formula One's greatest legends will be able to rediscover the magic that brought him this far. And do you believe Hamilton still has time to turn this game around at Ferrari? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any news from behind the scenes of Formula One.